Flames have moved to morning practices now that we're in season for in classes right now. Can you talk us a little bit about what that transition's been like and what your focus has been this week?
Yeah, so school did start Monday there. We actually had an off day just to get them, acclimated to go back into class. We practiced, did our walkthroughs in the morning during the fall camp, and transitioned to practice in the afternoon during that time frame. Try to get used to some of our later kicks. As you guys know, we don't really practice in the morning or play in the mornings or play early for any matter at all. And so try to get used to that a little bit now. We're transitioning back to class, and so we're a morning team there. And so I think our guys have adjusted to it well. Not that they've not been over here in the mornings, they have, but it's normally for a walkthrough. So I think the getting back to learning how to practice in the morning there this week has been good for us. I thought we had a good fall camp. We've not named a quarterback, so I know y'all are going to ask that, so I'm telling y'all that up front. We've not named one yet. I think both Vasco and Berger are doing a good job. They're performing at a good level, and so we want to make sure that we practice as much as we can before we make our final decision there. But I like where both of them have been. I think we stayed healthy for the most part through fall camp. That's always another question there. And still got some guys that are nicked and knacked, but no long-term injuries to speak of so far. And so hopefully we'll stay that way as we prepare for our first game.
Looking back to July 30th, would you say fall camp was a success? I know there were a lot of question marks across the board with position groups.
Yeah, I mean, success is defined different ways. And so did we maximize the time we had to get better? Yes. So I would say yes, that's a positive. I would love to see us continue to have more urgency, and then some just more consistency every day as far as just knowing that every day matters. I think we're still not where we need to be there yet, but this team does like to practice. They do value practice. I've been around some teams that don't value practice, so this team values practice. So I think there's success in that, and when you can come through it, healthy, that's always a positive too.
When do you hope to have that in, or when do you plan to name a starting quarterback, and will it be something that you do publicly, or just keep it?
We'll probably name it publicly at some point there. We just we just started our preparation here this week, and so we want to make sure that we've dotted all our I's and all our T's and made sure that as we make our decisions, the best one, we're evaluating everything. Experience matters. I think experience is a big deal. And so we want to make sure that we've done everything possible, because they both, and I think, Mike's had a good camp as well, I think, but Ethan and Ryan, we got to make sure that we've given them every opportunity to showcase what they're about. And we've done that up to this point, but we felt like as a coaching staff, we need just a little bit more time there. We'll name it at some point. I'm not going to keep it a secret too long. I've done that before, but we just want to make sure we've done our due diligence and all the metrics that we're looking at and all those things. And I think it's a good thing, because that means both guys are doing some good stuff. If you named one, that means probably the other one's not really confident in. You're not confident in, and so I think we're confident in either who goes out there.
Is there a scenario you'd play both of them in that first game?
I hadn't thought about that, but maybe, who knows? I think right now we're just focused on who's going out there right now as far as who's doing well, and they both are. We're just focused on trying to make that decision. But it could be. We'll see what happens here in the next few days.
What are the key factors that will differentiate which quarterback gets the start and also sustains that job?
I think I said it earlier, just that we're confident in the experience somebody has that goes out there, that they're going to take care of the ball and be able to provide the offense what it needs to be to score points. I think that's one. Consistency matters. And so those are the two things. I think both of them up to this point have shown that they can move the ball and score. And so, but I think as we totally look at all that stuff, who gives us the best chance to keep the chains moving, not put us in a bad position, whether that's taking a sack they shouldn't take, some of those things. So we're really hammering into those details because if you go back and we went back and looked and studied, and any time that we've put ourselves in some bad situations, that it's been hard for us to overcome offensively. And I say bad situations, second and long, and so that were self-inflicted, right? Taking a sack when we shouldn't supposed to. Some of those things. So we're really hammering in on those details of who gives us the best chance to not put us in a bad position where we have to be behind the chains. That's the thing we're really hammering on this next few days.
You mentioned you were staying relatively healthy. We saw Jacob Jenkins was inactive on Saturday. I guess can you speak to a little bit about what he's going through?
Yeah, I forgot him. He got banged up early in camp there, and it was more of a precautionary measure. He should. We'll see. He should be back for the game there. He's in a recovery right now in rehab, and so from everything that we're being told, he should have a great chance of being able to play in the first game. Recovery sometimes changes and it goes slower than you hope, but up to this point, what are we? 9 days out, and so is that right? 9, 10. That up to this point, everything's looking like that's a positive from that standpoint. Dylan Mullins will miss the game, and so he did have something that set him back a little bit. It's not a season-ending thing or anything like that, but he will miss the game there. A guy that's been a good special teams player for us.
One of the noticeable things Saturday was the penalties. Has that been something you feel like you've had throughout camp? Is that something, obviously, you kind of tried to take control of that during that scrimmage? Has that been something that's been reoccurring?
The first, we don't get a lot of officials at practice because there's not a lot to live around here. So we've only had officials really twice. I officiate and some other guys officiate. So, and so I'll call them in practice. And the first time we had officials here wasn't an open scrimmage. Obviously, we didn't have as many. For this time we did. So, I think the first time being in front of fans is that some new guys. We had some newer guys do some things, and it was false starts or some things that you don't want to do. We talk a lot about that, and so was that jitters, being in front of fans for the first time, and and it sort of being like a real game. I hope so, but I was disappointed in that because the first scrimmage we didn't have as many, and I felt like we've really worked hard on not beating ourselves and put in standards of what happens if we do and some of those things. So, but it was disappointing because of that's something we have worked a lot, but I don't expect it, hopefully to be an issue going forward.
How much better has Damon Harmon made the cornerback room, and how much confidence do you have in him, putting him out there with the one?
Yeah, he's been a blessing. It was he got here last year. He walked on, and there was a lot of ups and downs with him. Just acclimating to the way we do things, and I think him struggling to find his way. This was his third school, struggling to find a way. He came in with an injury, and he was always talented, but trying to fight through the injury. And our strength staff and athletic training staff did a really good job of helping him get confident in his injury and coming in and putting himself in a position to play. You could see when he was healthy, there was talent there. He just really struggled to stay healthy consistently. But he played in the bowl game and did really well. I don't know if you guys remember. Most of us try to forget the bowl game, but he did a good job. Got healthy through spring, and I mean he's put himself in a position where he can lock people down. He's not afraid to tackle, and so he's been a great. I don't want to say a surprise. I think everybody anticipated that he could be that good, but it's been really fun for us to see him gain his confidence back. I mean, you don't go to Oklahoma if you don't have ability, right? But for whatever reason, it didn't work out there, and then when it doesn't work out, you put yourself in this dark spot, And I think he was just in some dark times, and I think Liberty has been a blessing for him beyond football, just finding himself again and who he is and what God's created him to be, and I think it goes out there and it shows how he's playing.
Not to linger on quarterbacks, but obviously since you've but you've announced Merninger as third string and you have the other freshmen. What does a good year look like for those three guys? I mean, they're competing behind a couple of redshirt juniors. So what is?
I think anytime you get your opportunities, you got to take advantage of them. Meaning that if you get some practice time, which some of them obviously still are, that you're taking advantage of those. You don't just say, well, I'm not playing, and then, because I was guilty of this in college, well, I'm not playing, it doesn't matter, so you stop learning, you stop paying attention to meetings, you don't think it is as important, and you're trying to gain as much knowledge as possible. And so seeing them continue to grow, continue to learn, continue to work on the things they need to is important. And it's going to be easy not to, because as you know, you get frustrated, when you're not playing and you think it doesn't matter. And so I need to see the maturity out of those, especially the two younger guys. There needs to be a maturity there. And I think Mike's got to realize he could be one play away, all the time, and so he prepares that way. And so I think Mike's in a good headspace. He continues to get better. I think everybody in our building thinks Mike can be really, really good and is going to be. And as he continues to mature, he just needs more maturity, more strength, and some things. He's still young as well. He's a redshirt freshman, and Jaden's a redshirt freshman. The guy's a freshman, so they're all young. They all come in with high expectations, and it just takes time for quarterbacks to develop some, And once they do, though, I think our Coach Korn and Coach Dixon do a good job of the quarterback room. They feel good about all those guys. They just got to continue to work on the things they need to get better at and have the proper attitude to do that.